My cohorts in crime and I agreed that we'd all keep it to 10 minutes, and it's generally accepted that I'm the long-winded one. That's why they put me last. And they said they'd keep theirs short to give me a little extra time. Well, Ed, you went 14 and a half minutes. Greg, you went 16 minutes. So I'm going to recommend everybody contact their office. We're not coming back today. We are in the bar, so we should be good for about 6 hours. Go ahead. I'm going to try to fly through this. I can come back to any of this. I'll stand over there where I can actually read it later if you have questions. But I'm going to talk a little bit about market activity from a real estate agent standpoint, supply and demand. I've had several builders ask me, is this looking like 2005 to you? Because of the way the market's gearing up. So we're going to go into a little detail there. We're going to talk about how to listen to the market and basically what I would do to proceed from my vantage point if I was a builder. And I'm not a builder and I don't have your vantage point, but I will give it my best go from a supply and demand standpoint. All right, this is a picture that shows us new sales, existing home sales, new sales, and it shows the ratio of new to the overall market. Last year we were at 9% of the market, and it was the best year we've had in 6 years. Okay, so the average in the 70s, 80s, 90s appears to be about 21% of all homes sold were new construction. And when I say home, I'm talking about single family homes, which means detached and attached, which includes condos. All right, so where are all these buyers? And this is actually a slide I used last year, and it still applies this year. This pie represents the historical buying pool in Tallahassee. Where do our buyers come from? Well, they come from 3 groups. The green group, first-time home buyers. The definition of a first-time home buyer is not somebody buying their first home. A first-time home buyer is somebody buying a home who hasn't owned a home in the last 3 years. Okay, so first-time home buyers is more than a quarter of the market historically. Investors are under a quarter of the market historically. And then 45% of the market is people who own homes, need to sell those homes to buy new homes. Okay, that part of the market has been underwater. How underwater? Okay, you can't see all these numbers, and quite frankly, they don't really matter. But there's a circle up there that shows 29,000 people in Tallahassee bought a home at higher values than they are today. Okay, fortunately, not all of them still own those homes. Unfortunately, it wasn't due to a normal market sale. Short sales and foreclosures has thinned that group. I don't have an accurate measurement of it, but I guarantee you there's more than 10,000 of them that still own their homes, and they still own their homes that they paid a higher price than it's worth today. Okay? We need values to go up to free those people up to move. Okay? The early side of that is 2005. A little bit of a guess, can't see that far. 2005, so we're talking about 13 years ago. Average move cycle in Tallahassee, believe it or not, is 20 years. I believe if you take away the outliers, we have a 7 to 10 year move cycle. That means all the normal moves from that group are sitting there and they can't move. They either owe as much on their house as it's worth, or even worse, they owe more on it than it's worth. Okay? So down at the bottom of this slide, I showed that appreciation in 2016 was 6.4%. Okay, that's price per square foot of the market went up 6.4%. 2017, it was up 7%. 2018, it's going up 10% this year. Resale homes are going to go up 10% in value this year. Okay, that is going to help recapture a healthy portion of that group. Now, this 29,000 people that bought, I don't have the data. Well, I have the data. I don't have the answers. How many people refinanced their house during the same period or in the same boat? It wasn't hard to get a loan back there and pull all the equity out of your house. People that did, they're just as trapped in their homes as people who purchased. Okay, one of the things I like to track is what are people spending for an existing home versus what they're spending for a new home. And then I refer to that as the new construction premium. You really need to track it in price, and you also need to track it in value, price per square foot. This is a picture of the price, and we're looking at about a 53% new construction premium. So just apples to apples. There is no apples to apples comparison. A resale house is used, okay? Might be on a better piece of land. A new house, it's got that new car, smells in great shape, everything's new, got all the modern amenities. Right now, buyers are paying 53% more for that, okay? Inventory, go back to that. Inventory right now is so low that you have to understand that you really don't have to put a lot of thought in what to build. You only have to put some thought into where to build it. Because if you build it, we'll sell it. There's not enough homes in Tallahassee below $500,000. Wait. So we expect fewer single-family detached homes and more condo townhouse homes from the building community because we can't just keep going up and up in price. I mean, short of a major employer moving to our market area, we kind of know what we got. And we know what the cost of living increases are going to do to salaries and wages. And doctors, lawyers, and Indian chiefs are only going to grow as a percentage of how our base jobs grow. So we all have to be very observant that our current price in the market is dictated by interest rates. If we went to normal interest rates tomorrow, the 50-year average is 8.25%. If we went to 8.25% tomorrow, 75% of the over 600,000 market would go away. Okay, they are financing. People think that people who are buying $1 million homes are paying cash. Wrong. They're financing. Okay, and they're financing because money's cheap. All right. This is a graph that I look at probably more than any other that I make, and this is just an annualized view of supply and demand. And without getting into great details, that little yellow gold line going across the thing, that's a normal balanced market. And that little thin blue line, that represents where we're at over the last year. And we dropped below that line 2 years ago. We are grossly undersupplied in our market. Grossly. We're not undersupplied, we're grossly undersupplied. Now, I got to believe if I were a builder, I would want someone to say, hey, we don't have enough homes. Well, we don't have enough homes. We need you to build more homes. Okay? But not just anywhere. Okay, this is that exact same graph, except I only have tracked above 600,000. So any home under 600 doesn't go into this. Look how much higher that thin blue line is than that gold band. We have more than double the supply necessary above 600,000. Okay, so if you think you want to build spec homes and you really think you're good at 700,000, you better have an ace up your sleeve. There's too many homes. Most of the buyers in that price point look at building a custom home. Okay, so you got an advantage there. The disadvantage to you is they're not consuming inventory. Bottom end of the market, and when I say bottom end, I mean like the bottom 95%, it is shrinking because people are consuming those homes, and y'all are having a hard time building homes at the lower end. Okay, so what we're seeing is your product is up here, and we're seeing that part of the market correct at a much slower rate. Much slower rate. Where the demand is below 500,000. The real demand is in that 200 to 400 range, and I think there's creative solutions that could get a lot of people busy in here. Okay, this is the kind of information I post every week on my website. This is literally supply and demand at $50,000 price increments in all four quadrants of Tallahassee. If you are trying to figure out what to build and where to build it, go there. If the number's under a 6, that's a place to look at. If the number's under a 4, you could buy a lot, put a mobile home on it, put 4 walls around it, put a roof over it, put a Pinterest kitchen in it, and it will sell. Okay? You don't have to be good at your job if there's under a 4 up there. Okay? If it's over a 4, I recommend you actually know what you're doing. All right. This is one of those graphs that I tracked for years before I could figure out what it was telling me. This is just permits versus sales for new homes. And what I think this tells me is that whenever those two lines are sitting on each other, you're in a market of fear, loans are scarce, builders are scared to build. When those lines are separated, there's a lot of speculation, builders are cocky, they're putting out houses. Okay? Look what's happened to our market since 2007. Those lines are glued to each other. Rightly so during all those years when we had too many homes. Okay, I remember speaking to this group in 2012 over at, what was that restaurant? Beef O'Brady's, yes. So we're in the back room at Beef O'Brady's. I said, the market is finally improving. Things are getting it better, but not for you. Okay? The market was turning, sales were going up, but we had like 20 some odd months of supply. We didn't need to build a home at any single price point. So the market was improving, but it didn't mean it was good for builders. Okay? 2 people stood up, cussed me, and left the room. Thought I was telling them I was going to make it that way. Okay? I got good news. The market is in trouble. We don't have enough homes. We need builders to gear up. We need lenders to step up and support our builders, because you really don't have a difficult job of getting it sold if you build it. I'm not in the business of telling you how to build. I don't know. I've learned some of the challenges that y'all are facing. Okay? But assuming you can build homes under 500,000, get busy. All right, this is a annualized view of supply and demand by price point. It doesn't take into account where you're at. This is just Leon County. And if the blue line there is below the yellow line, that means we're in a seller's market. Okay, well, we're in a seller's market all the way up to $450,000. At $450,000, we're still in a buyer's market. Okay, and that line is moving. It's moving, it's going higher. Okay, it's not going to ever get to 750 or 800. Not unless you guys just stop building completely. Okay, there's some numbers up there that I just can't read from here. Greg made a great point. You go in the MLS and you say, wow, look at that, there's 127 new homes for sale. Okay, and he said, but most of them haven't been built. Okay, well, I'll also tell you, of those 30 some odd that remain, most of those are under contract. There are no new homes for sale in our MLS. There's a couple dozen tops. So we need inventory. When we go and we look at the existing homes in there, you go, wow, look at that. There's 1,100 homes. Okay, well, there should be 3,000 homes. Okay, but there's 1,100. 448 of those are under contract. That's 40% of the homes in the MLS are under contract. 39.6 if you count new construction. And some of those homes don't even exist. That includes condos downtown. All of that stuff together, 4 out of every 10 are under contract. Buyers can't buy them. Buyers show up wanting to go out and see homes. We put a house on the market last week. We had somebody cancel as a buyer on one of our listings to come in and put an offer on another listing because they liked it better, and they were one of 7 offers. They didn't get it. Okay, houses hit the market that's highly competitive. If you can solve your problem of figuring out how to bring houses to the market, buyers are waiting. Okay, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you could have brought houses to the market, you were gambling. Okay, today, buyers are waiting. Okay, this is information I get from Ed's site. If you don't go to Ed's site, you're not trying to know more about what your market's doing. He just does a fantastic job, and I can't consume all the stuff he has on his site. That little table in the graph that I can't read from here, it shows you what the average number of permits were every year in each decade. And it looks like it's about 1,074, and then 1,650, and then 1,262. This decade, it's been 480. Okay? 480. We haven't built enough homes. Okay? So one of the questions I was hoping to answer for today was, well, you know, if you guys had a blank check and all the land you needed, how many homes should you build? Well, here's my rough calculation, and it only looks at this year. Ed and I have disagreeing opinions on the future growth in Tallahassee. Okay, I have been very bearish on our market for a long, long time. I've turned bullish. Okay, Ed's neither. He just reports the facts. Okay, but I think changing governors is going to change our job situation in Tallahassee. What I've calculated has nothing to do with future growth. This is 2018. What's here and now. What I know we can sell. If you could produce X number of homes, I'm telling you, I'll have them all sold by the end of the year. Okay, so what I said is what we need is 6,000 homes. Last year we sold about 5,700. 5,400 and something. Our growth should be somewhere between 58 and 6,200 homes this year, based on the way I see the market projecting. So we're going to call it 6,000 homes are needed. Okay. Now, 3,000 homes are needed on top of that for inventory. You want an inventory 6-month supply. Okay, so that's 9,000 homes. So ultimately, Tallahassee needs 9,000 homes. Let's look where we're going to get those. Well, 1,285 of them already exist. They're in the MLS. Okay, 4,800 to 5,600 people in Tallahassee are going to choose to put their house on the market. Okay, I track new listings every year, and it takes me 20 hours a month to really track them, because I got to get rid of all the duplicates. I've got to erase all the errors the MLS has in it and truly track what's new to the market. All right, we're going to have 4,800 to 5,600. The reason that's such a big spread is over the last 5 years, our biggest change was 13%, and our smallest change was 3%, and so I use those as my range. Okay, so we're going to get that number in. Builders then have to provide somewhere between 2,100 and 2,900 new homes, minus the condos that sell downtown. How many condo units are going to sell downtown? 1,000? No, there's not 1,000 of them to sell down there. Okay, so I'm guessing that builders could today hand me 2,000 new homes and stop building, and there wouldn't be one left unsold by the end of the year. I think you're tracking to do about 700. We're going to end this year in worse shape than we ended last year. We have a serious void in inventory, and the void is growing. We're going to see the sellers' homes go up in value. The homeowners' homes are going to go up in value. That's going to release more of them to the market. Those are already counted in my numbers. So the best news I've had for you since 6 years of doing this is I'm finally telling you to build. So build some homes. All right, so how do we listen to the market? Well, the first thing you got to know is today's buyers not making smart decisions. Okay, but they are making decisions. They are buying. Okay, make sure you key into what those buyers are doing. Be the uncola, but don't go crazy. Okay? Uncola is a term used in marketing that came out with 7-Up in the early 70s. Coke was selling, Pepsi was selling, RC Cola was selling. 7-Up wanted to make a dent in the market, so they said, be the uncola. And they made a big hit. But it was still a carbonated beverage. Okay? They didn't become a milkshake. They didn't try to compete with Coke and Pepsi with a milkshake. They came out with another carbonated beverage. You need to look at your industry the same way. You need to differentiate yourself, but also recognize what the buyer is doing and what's influencing those buyer decisions today. Don't build what you like and then wonder why it's not selling. That's probably the number one mistake I've seen from builders in 27 years. They call me going, how do I sell this? And I go, why'd you build it? So figure out what to build based on supply and demand and what today's consumer is doing, and you won't have any problem selling it. Don't buy into the argument that millennials are different. Okay? Generation X's, they were different. Whatever generation is before that, they were different. Everyone was different. When you're 22 to 27 and you're getting surveyed, okay, you want to go to bars, okay, you want to travel, okay, you want to do all those fun things that financially empowered young people can do. Then you meet somebody, you get married, you have children, and you want people to leave you alone. So you buy a house, okay? That's what millennials are going to do, okay? Don't survey a 22-year-old and tell me what they're going to do as 40-year-olds, okay? We all change, all right? Recognize the current market cycle, okay? Recognize the current market cycle. This isn't 2005, but it's also not 2012. Recognize the market cycle and take the appropriate action. Okay? Markets do not react, they overreact. Any market, real estate's just one of them. Okay? Psychological factors, all of us have memories. Man, I lost so much money in 2007. I'm never going to do that again. Okay? So those kind of thoughts are holding some of our builders back, going, yeah, I don't want to get overextended. If there was ever a time to be overextended, it started last year and it's going to go on for another 2 or 3 years. Don't wait 3 years, watch all these new builders that don't know any better get in the market, make all their money, and you go, yeah, okay, things are changed. I'll go ahead and start building houses. Now's the time to build the houses. Now's the time. Okay? Greed led the market. Greed led the market. In 2000, when the tech bubble burst, all the money left the market because everything was falling. Where did people want to put it? They wanted to put it in real estate. Okay? Tallahassee's always been safe from money flows like that because we're Tallahassee. You're not going to invest in Tallahassee from Quebec. Okay? But 2 magazines came out in 2004 and said Tallahassee's the single best investment market in America. Well, we started spec building. Even local people started buying multiple houses. That was artificial demand. We're selling 8,000, 9,000 homes in a year. Why? Well, because everyone knew they were always going to go up in value. Okay, that was a market cycle. Greed led that cycle. Okay, well now we have come to the end of a fear cycle. None of us, not only have we not been building, we haven't been allowed to build. We couldn't borrow the money to build if we were brave enough to do it, generally speaking. Okay, well, we're in a new cycle. It is now a greed cycle. There are not enough homes in Tallahassee, and what do you guys do for a living? You make homes. Go make some homes. We can sell them. Okay? It's not rocket science. Pay attention to supply and demand. You'll know when the party's ending. You will know when the party's ending. Okay? I took my eye off the ball. I quit tracking the market because I was a genius. Everything I did turned to gold from 2002 to 2004. I quit tracking the market. It won't happen this go around. Okay? Banks, you're missing the boat. There are builders that build quality homes that are ready to put up inventory that we got people standing in line to buy. We got to fund our builders. They need to build more homes. And builders, build more homes. I can't solve your problems. I know it's not as simple as go out and build a home. I know subs are a big issue. I know there's other big issues that I'm totally ignorant of. Get over it. Fix them. We need the homes. All right, that's all I have. And I think as a group we're open for questions.